Hello, hello, good evening. Happy, what is it, Wednesday night, Inter Miami fans and Kendall Sport Network subscribers. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Uh, Pinch hitting for Byron Garcia. It's myself, Alex Bustillo, alongside our wonderful Mark Gonzalez. Mark, say what's up to the fans.
What's up? What's up, man? How you doing? Happy to have you here, you know, pinch hitting. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm
Hey,
excited.
I'm gonna try. At least I know I'm live now. The last time with Mark, the other Mark, we didn't go live. So
We're learning.
um,
It's okay. It's okay.
yeah, but hey, we at least we figured out what went wrong.
Overcome, adapt,
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
this is
Move,
where
move
we are
on,
right
move
now.
forward. So thank you guys again for joining us. Super excited to have you guys here. Please feel free to drop a comment, subscribe, and follow if you haven't done so already. We appreciate the love. Always taking tips, recommendations, whatever you guys want to hear. That's what we're here for. So let's get it started. Important game this evening, right? But uh, we don't want to get too much into it because of what unfolded. But let's talk a little bit about that debacle that was
The
against FC
Dallas game.
Dallas. Clearly, an early lead. Everything looked really really nice, and then shit just fell apart.
Yeah, it was a heavily rotated. So going into that Dallas game, it was going to be rest your starters because you know what tonight's all about. And that Dallas game we'll touch on very lightly because limited time and stuff. But we have an early lead with a heavily rotated squad with guys that haven't been playing as much getting playing time. Alan Obando makes his first start. Ian Frey makes a start. David Martinez starts at left back. Lujan makes a start. Aviles and Bright in the midfield. Kanamowski as a 10. Pico out wide. And Leo Alfonso gets his first start of the season. So heavily rotated squad, like I said. But there's exciting, promising attacking prowess from this team. Wide
Sure.
players, depth with going wide. Ian Frey was a star of the show. Even though we lost, um, getting up and down the right side of the pitch gives us an attack on that side. Gives us some semblance of respectability on that side. Something we haven't seen from Inter Miami lately, and something that's been a non-factor since he's been out of the lineup is the right-sided attack. It's been very very heavy on the left side. So whips in a ball. Leo Alfonso gets a touch on it. Pico gets a touch on it. Comes off the goalie's back almost. So I think it's credited to Alfonso. So we're tied 1-1 at this point. All right, cool. I'm feeling good about the game. Heavily rotated squad, like I said. What do these
Yeah.
guys got? Then we got, Alan Obando makes his stamp, gets his first MLS goal, first goal for Inter Miami. Cross from Ian Frey once again, who makes it happen. Ball whipped in. Obando gets his foot on it right by the keeper. Right there, we're feeling pretty good about Inter Miami. Going into the halftime 2-1, you're sitting pretty. You're playing almost for a point almost, but you have the chances to win. But third goal comes as David Martinez picks up the ball from Kramaski, who holds off the defender, plays it across the frame of goal and scores 3-1. And Alex, with a 3-1 lead,
At this
it's
point, it's in the bag,
You
right?
you think you'd like to think it's in the bag. We started five center backs, but Martinez said, "Nah, I think that's not defensive enough," and he made a critical mistake. And went to a five back. And when you go to a five back, you leave the middle pretty much open. And FC Dallas was able to find runners, and Lujan had an abysmal 20 minutes. There, it felt like it was just him getting beat off the ball, players getting in and behind. That's how they scored the tying goal. Uh, and it was just FC Dallas from that point on trying to score, and they ended up scoring
So Mark,
two to tie, and then getting a winning goal at the end.
terrible, terrible, terrible outcome there. Certainly not what you wanted to see. But before we move on to Vancouver, the shift of focus to Vancouver tonight. Um, you mentioned Mascherano in the defensive adjustment
Mhm.
and what he did there. What do you put the blame solely on that, or is it
I
is it
think
divvied up pretty evenly, or
he
where did it completely fall apart?
he took the blame himself in the post game presser, so
I
I'm
remember you
putting it on
mentioning that.
him.
Yeah.
Um, he took off Falcon. And I think he should have just taken off Lujan and slid Toto back and brought in Redondo to the midfield with Bright and maybe Telasco Segovia.
Mhm.
Um, it was just a bad tactical adjustment by Mascherano. And, something to
Yeah.
him, just going forward, he's got to learn, you got to trust the players on the pitch, trust what you're doing in practice and training, and just
Right.
leave these guys out there and, not take your best players out. You take Bright out of the midfield, and there's no real holding presence there.
Gotcha.
So,
No, and like you said, something that he admitted to messing up, right? It's part of growing pains, right? This is expected. His first managerial role. So the fact that he owned it shows growth, and I think we can certainly, right, learn
I
learn
mean,
from those mistakes, like you mentioned.
we would hope so. But given what was put out with the lineup tonight, it's very, frustrating to see him go in the same direction as before. So we'll get to that shortly, but
All right, so
I
yeah,
can
you
see
said
I can see where the growth part and admitting to it, but having been a player at the highest caliber level, you got to know the certain circumstances and just trust what you got back there.
okay. So you mentioned tonight's starting 11. Let's take a look at that.
Yep,
All right, let's
this is
discuss
this
because
is
you
straight
mentioned.
from the Inter Miami
Yep.
team.
Hmm.
You're getting Ustadi in goal, Cello as a right back, Falcone and Noah Allen, the 1A center back options are best ones on the team right now. Jordi Alba at left back, Redondo and Busquets in the midfield duo. Uh, Segovia, I would assume, is going to be playing out left, Allende out right, Messi in the middle, and then Suarez as your straight up number 9. I mean, I think this is probably the most boring, not the most predictable lineup ever put out. Um, and it makes no sense, Alex.
What change would you make, Mark,
Very
based on
easy.
what happened against FC Dallas?
There's two changes that are so easy in this team, and every Inter Miami fan sees it. Every Inter Miami fan or content creator, guy, anyone in the community can see this. Is Cello out, Ian Frey in, Redondo out, Yannick Brighton. And I'll start with Ian Frey. Ian Frey, like I said, gives an attacking minded mindset from your right side. Cello does not provide that. And in a game where you're down 2-0 and you're trying to find a goal, and
Right.
you're
I was
trying
just going to
to,
transition to that. Yeah.
yeah, when you're gonna get creative, you need to show Vancouver something else, because if not, they're gonna flush everything to the middle and not respect the overlapping run on the right, or Ian Frey cutting into his right and playing a ball to the middle, and his ability just to whip in the ball to Suarez or Allende, whoever can get their heads on it or their foot on it for a goal. But now with
Yeah.
Cello, you really don't have that, and it's
Right.
it's frustrating. Like it's really frustrating to put a guy out there who is not better than Ian Frey that we just saw on at the weekend. And it's
Yeah.
proven in games that Inter Miami does the best and scores the most goals. Ian Frey is there. Their offensive drop off with him off the pitch hurts, because
It's
it's
drastic.
everything's is moved over to the left side. There's no right sided attack, and it's just Messi trying to pass left and cut it on his left
And
and
like
all
you
that stuff.
said, the opposition can load up on that side and
Then yeah, they're not gonna their outside backs are not gonna respect the run outside. They're just gonna
right.
focus in the middle. And then
Right.
the second one is Yannick Bright. This is your middle linebacker, and I'm gonna put it to you in football terms. I know you're a big football guy. Your middle linebacker is the defensive quarterback.
Exactly.
He's down. He's in the middle, holding down the fort. In
Yeah.
front of your safeties, and your DBs. That's Yannick Bright. He's gonna go put in a tackle when it's needed. He's going to go put in he's gonna go win a header when it's needed. And in a game where you expect Busquets to get forward, your right back to get forward, it's gonna be it may be a three back at times, and Yannick Bright's gonna be asked to just hold that midfield and win the ball back, win it to Messi, win it to Allende, win it to Segovia, win it to whoever. But now you're starting Redondo next to Busquets, where there's not a lot of defensive tendencies in Redondo's game. He's gonna look to play the ball forward many times, but he doesn't have the track back ability that you see in Yannick Bright. He doesn't have the engine Yannick Bright has. So I just don't know what Mascherano sees in Redondo to start
Mhm.
him in your most important game of the season.
Yeah, up to now, for certainly the most important game of the season. Um, in a game where Miami cannot afford a slow start.
Exactly.
And you mentioned the attacking mindset, right?
Mhm.
And then I don't know. Is he looking to sub on early? And you mentioned those. Let's look at the subs
Yes.
that are listed there. What do you think is his first sub, and how soon do you think he needs to make
It,
it?
his first sub is gonna it's gonna be his first subs, I would say, are Yannick Bright, Fafa Picault, and Alan Obando, even and Benjamin Kremaski. If something's not going right, I mean, you cannot wait. There's not a lot of time in this game. You know you gotta come out, you gotta find goals quick. The moment Vancouver finds one, it's pretty much dead. You gotta score four.
We're in deep trouble. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
you gotta score four at that point. And Vancouver's way better than LAFC. Not
yeah,
saying they can't be beat. At 2-0, you can definitely find two goals and even a third and win 3-2.
yeah.
This team can be beat, but with the right personnel, it's the biggest key. And right now, you're missing two key starters that are on the bench in the
That
biggest
would
game of
add
this
that
year.
offensive firepower that we so
It's not
desperately
even
need. Yeah,
it's offensive firepower from one and the defensive capabilities of the other. They
yeah,
they they counteract each other. So if Vancouver want to play through the middle and they want to overload the midfield at one point, Yannick Bright will do everything to disrupt that and man mark or play the ball out and win the ball when you need it. We've seen it. It's his pedigree. So
right.
why he's not starting
Is
is
beyond me.
just it's I mean I've been on this Yannick Bright thing for and on the Drive Pink dialogue when I was on their show going back and forth with we agreed it was just 100% Yannick Bright needs to be a starter in the most important games. You cannot leave him on the bench and hope for the best.
Okay, so now that we talked about our starting 11 and
Mhm.
where you see the holes and the opportunities there, let's shift over to Vancouver, and who do you think we have to really take out of the game for the Whitecaps in order for us to be successful?
I think it's not allowing Pedro Vite, their center mid, to get on the ball early and find Brian White. Brian White's their leading goal scorer. He's their guy that's going to be their head of the attack. Andres Cubas, their six, is their center defensive mid. He runs a show in there as
Yeah,
well.
and both those guys played well against us
They
last.
did, man. They
Yeah,
did. But you need to find the wide players quickly. If it's Sabi, if it's Ahmed, Daniel Rios, any of those guys, find them quick because they're gonna want to look for Brian White as soon as they pick up the ball and pick up their heads. Um, you got to close out to them very quickly. Limit their ability to play the ball in. Uh, just stepping to the right spots, being intact defensively, and just limiting the space they have in the midfield to operate. And that is going to be very hard with, like I said, Bright not in there, but Redondo. If this is the game to have a game of your life, bro, this is it. You gotta make sure you're covering for Busquets and you're going to have to eliminate one of those, midfielders in Berhalter, Cubas, or Pedro Vite, and hope you're able to have a solid performance that can be written off, and Miami win, and you have a solid performance, and people will congratulate you. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you should be the second pick in the center mid role. So
definitely. Hey, and it looks like and sorry, Sean Callahan, for missing the comment early on. He definitely echoes your sentiment, Mark, with regards to the lineup. Yeah,
yeah,
you've seen the lineup: Redondo and Cello starting. Pack it up, boys.
Sean
Um,
has some good points, man. He's been commenting for a while. And this is one that, like I said, a lot of the Inter Miami community share. The two guys that I said need to be starting in this game, and it's frustrating from your manager not to do this.
yeah, he says we're
So
giving up another header too with that CB pairing, so we're playing for 4 goals.
we'll
Man,
see.
we'll see, Sean. We'll see what happens. We'll see what adjustments Mascherano makes. Obviously, we need big games from our stars. Right? You mentioned that, Mark. What do we need to see from Busquets, from Jordi Alba, from Messi, and from Suarez?
I think the ones that we're going to be circling the most are going to be Messi and Suarez. Messi probably had his most inactive game of the season against Vancouver. Um, and this is a player who's the greatest of all time. Done it in the Champions League, done it at Barcelona, done it in La Liga.
At every level.
He's done it at the World Cup, for God's sakes.
Mhm.
Take the game over. Grab the game by the throat, take it over. Um, I understand that the supporting cast is not that of a Argentina or Barcelona of any team like that,
Do you
but
think that obviously he didn't play against Dallas, but do you think he's been hesitant to take the game over at times, um,
I just
or during
think
stretches?
I just think that other teams make it really hard on him because we haven't had anything going offensively from the other guy, so they're just gonna focus Messi and let the other guys beat us, and we haven't done that.
Right.
Um, so that's why I speak on Suarez, who's had an abysmal start to the season. Hasn't really done anything the last 7 games. Hasn't scored from the run of playing the last 11 games that he's played in, I want to say.
What do you think you
Um,
can attribute that? I mean, is Father Time catching up with Suarez?
it could be, but I think his decision making in the final third needs to be crisper. He takes a second touch too often. He's unsure of when to shoot. He receives the ball once, and it should be a one touch and shoot. Not
So
none
he's
of
like
this one
lacking
touch.
confidence, almost. It feels like, right?
Yeah, and he wants to play the 1-2 with Messi in tight spaces, but man, they're really closing those tight spaces quickly, and you just gotta get a shot off and try to force a save from the keeper.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You know, the
you
same
never know
thing.
what's gonna happen, and I think that's where he needs to play. He needs to play as a striker. Him
Yeah.
playing wide really does nothing because there's no one running down the middle. Segovia's not hasn't been playing the best either. Allende hasn't had the greatest of run of form, so you're going into this game with a lot of what ifs and question marks and informed players, and especially in the attack. And you're gonna hope that the big name guys really pick it up. I think Busquets, aside from Messi, most consistent players for Inter Miami.
Yeah, we know what we're gonna
He,
get from Sergio every game.
he's gonna do anything in his power to unlock the defense with any pass that he can find. And Jordi Alba is gonna be running down the left side looking for anything. And it's gonna be a question of, can we get quality balls and can we cause chaos in Vancouver's box, and can
And
we
can we
put away
finish?
chances? Can we take can not even finish? Can we take chances? It's gonna have to be. This is an all-out attacking game. There's no sitting back. You're at home. You have the crowd behind you. It's it's the
So does
biggest game
that
of this.
make us more susceptible to giving up something ugly on
We
the
did.
on
It happened against LAFC. Luckily, we were able to come back, but
right?
we were looking at to attack. They came down and they came out and stopped that. They got a couple corners and they scored off a recycled ball into the box from a bad play from Mustadi.
Yeah.
So you cannot have that against Vancouver because Vancouver will make you pay. They may not take a lot of chances and have the boatload of opportunities and stuff, but as we saw, they will make you pay.
Yeah, yeah. You made a football reference earlier with the middle linebacker. I'm going to make a
Mhm.
hockey reference
Go
because
for it.
you spoke on it just a little bit ago. Just make the keeper make a save, right? Because what happens if you got someone there on a rebound, boom, then
It
it's about getting
it
the opportunities, right? Make him make a play.
Exactly. Test the keeper. He had 2 saves last game. You test them often, test them early from different
Yeah,
angles,
yeah,
especially from corners. We haven't had the best corner strategies as of late. It's been a lot of playing short and then trying to play back and just play it in the air. Get your center backs up. Get Redondo in there if you're gonna use him. Get Suarez in there. Get Allende in there. Put a cross in, man. Just like
yeah,
you can't risk the playing short and then it's a turnover because then you're running backwards and
yeah.
there's 2 guys defending against Brian White, Sabi, Ahmed, and maybe Pedro Vita. So
And we're not the fastest.
it's not even when they were the fat. We can stop transitions, but a Vancouver transition, a hungry team in the semifinal is a different story.
Yeah,
This team wants to come out and kill. It's it's going to be in their nature to try to do that and kill the game off early. And if they overextend, We got to be able to hit them over the top or through the middle, out wide, and find those spaces. I can't stress it enough. It's got to be, creative, and find different options to play. Because if we play the same way, it's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens this evening. Remind the folks what time they need to tune in to watch our boys take
Eight
on the
eight
Whitecaps.
p.m. Fox Sports One is kickoff. I mean, I'm expecting an electric atmosphere over there.
Yeah,
It's gonna be crazy.
Chase is going to be
Um,
crazy. Absolutely.
I'm just worried that Mascherano might overthink this. That he has already overthunk it. I overthought this already, in my opinion, with the starting 11. It's gonna be tough. Like it, the
I guess.
seeing the lineup is made me worry more than I should have been, coming to this game,
I mean,
because
you hope that he makes that adjustment before it's too late, before Vancouver forces him to make an adjustment. But maybe he's seeing something that we're not. It doesn't sound like that right now.
it's very
And
hard to defend.
right, right, very
It
hard to defend the starting 11, as Sean expressed earlier in his comments. So I'm sure, in a lot of, like you said, the content creators and uh,
Here,
and the MLS super fans.
let me put it to you this way: did Terry Rozier deserve to start for the Miami Heat? When
Absolutely not. Yeah,
this is a Redondo and Terry. They're not saying they're the same, but it's the same situation. You
yeah, but
paid
is
both of them
Redondo betting
money.
on the games?
No, he might be. No, you paid both good amount of money to acquire these players.
Yeah.
Now your hand is forced to play them. But at one point, you got to see that these players are not improving your team in the way you want to. And at that point, you got to sit them back, bench them, and start the guys that are going to prove to you that, they deserve the playing time. And that's where I just don't know what Mascherano is seeing. I don't know what difference there is in practice, because it's not translating to the game. And
Mhm.
it leaves a real hole for Inter Miami. And I have no idea. I don't have the words to finish the sentence to sum up why he's not starting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you and a lot of others are questioning his decision. Let's shift a little bit. I just remember too seeing not long ago. Obviously, we lost Taylor to Austin FC, and just recently we also lost Julian Gressel
To Minnesota United, yeah.
to Minnesota. What are your thoughts on that, Mark?
Um, Taylor, I think, could have been a key player in this game, and a key player for this team. Provides width, provides pace, provides the ability to take it on defender and score a goal.
Hmm.
Um, he provides something that we lack, and that's an attacking mind and a different attacking mindset from just the playing central and playing through Messi and all that stuff. Um, so it sucks. He is an Inter Miami favorite, a legend to a lot of fans
Yeah,
and the supporters. I love them as a player. It hurts to watch him go, because you want to see him succeed with your team, and a team that he loved, an organization that he loved, a city that he loved. So it
sure.
sucks. Austin got a good one. And as for
Mhm.
Gressel, another player that provides a different style of play from what we've seen this year. Older, but has the ability to play the ball from a wide spot, just as good as anybody in the league. And he's just the utmost professional. Wish him
Definitely.
the best of luck. So it sucks though that we had to get rid of those two.
Yeah,
Sucks more for me for Rob, because I was a huge Robbie Taylor fan, and really thought he could
as
help
was
this
I.
team.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the future holds, but I hope they're going to do good.
Yeah. So real quick, talk about the return that we got
We
from
got
both those guys.
general allocation money, from the Robbie Taylor trade. I'm
Mhm.
assuming it's going to go to anything we acquire in the summer transfer window.
Okay.
The Minnesota trade just went through yesterday. So it seems like Miami's gearing up for a move in the summer.
Yeah.
We just don't know
Okay.
what it is, what type of player it is. I'm hoping it's a wide midfielder, someone to get forward, maybe even a central midfielder. I
Any
don't want to
names that stick
speculate.
out?
You're gonna have the names of De Bruyne, Di Maria,
Yeah. Nice.
Pogba,
Yeah, and
um,
Fidel. I've heard Di Maria. I've heard De Bruyne.
all
Yeah.
those guys. All those guys are gonna be around Inter Miami circles, and the rumors. So when the rumors start going, it's just sit back and watch the circus and see what unfolds.
Yeah, the rumor mill is hot right now for
In
sure.
the summer, it will get even hotter.
Yeah. So if you had your choice of those two guys or any others that potentially are available out there, Mark, what would you got? You got the David Beckham hat right now. What are you doing?
I'd get Paul Pogba.
Pogba. Oh, I like
He's
Pogba.
I'm he's the youngest out of the three. He would absolutely boss the entire MLS.
Yeah.
That guy on his day was a tremendous midfielder. Those Juventus days, the early
Hmm.
United days before, he got hurt and all that stuff. That guy was an absolute boss. One of my favorite players watching.
Yeah.
I think he would do tremendous things in the MLS.
That's exciting, man. It's exciting. A lot of those guys are making those moves to Major League Soccer.
Yeah.
Once they've proven what they need to prove out there, whether it be in champions or
Hmm.
whatever other division.
Yep.
So exciting, man.
Hmm.
Any of those would be a big splash, I'm sure. But I would agree with youth. I like youth. In the in let's bring some
Yeah.
firepower.
But he's not young, young.
Right,
He's in
right.
his 30s,
Younger of the
but
three.
yes.
Yeah.
So I think he'd be a tremendous, tremendous player. But, DC has the discovery rights to him, so it'll be interesting.
Explain what that means to those that don't know what that means, Mark, discovery rights.
Basically, I want to say, when you discover when you exchange information about, the said player, and,
That's the
have certain contact with, um,
so like they have
you
they have
can when
they
you
have
can claim
they
them.
have dibs essentially.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
You know,
so let's look it
you,
up.
you
Discovery
no,
rights.
you can it's a system. You can claim the player with the first opportunity, and then you're the first to negotiate the player who is not under a league contract. So
Gotcha.
if he's not, since Paul Pogba is not under league contract, you know, that DC has had him on their discovery list, and they, you file paperwork through the league office, and you're given the discovery rights.
Well, there you go. Yeah, here it is. It says a discovery list allows an MLS club to obtain the rights to a player should he want to join the league.
Hmm.
Clubs first have to add the player to their list and then confirm it with the league office to ensure he's not on other clubs' lists. A club can have up to 7 players on their list at one time, and they can be added or removed regardless of transfer window status. So that's a discovery list. So,
We'll
and we
see.
mentioned general allocation money earlier. Here's one that talks about it. In the MLS, though there are several intricacies to acquiring talent, which can be
Hmm.
challenging for fans to understand.
Hmm.
Among the world of general allocation money, targeted allocation money, designated players, allocation orders, and generation Adidas, there are discovery lists, which we just talked about, which have quickly become a key part of MLS roster builds.
Yeah. I mean, I hate the MLS roster building thing. Just so complicated, so diverse when it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, so they need
Uh,
to dumb it down a little bit.
yeah, yeah. They need to be more lenient. I mean, not. They need to just be loose with it. Um, that's the way you're gonna get the league better, I believe. Bringing in top talent,
Awesome.
not limiting teams to how many players they can sign of a certain, from international spots or DPs and stuff like that.
Cool, cool. So share your top 3 keys to
Uh,
victory in tonight's matchup against the Whitecaps, Mark, and we'll close with that.
yeah. Like I said, get wide, get creative. We'll put that into one. But a dynamic offensive approach. Um, it's got to be something that, is refined to a purpose that, isn't just recycled possession and there's nothing coming from it. And you cannot be timid going into that's too tim. Well, I'll use timidness and walking on eggshells. You can't be timid going into this game. You cannot be afraid to go forward. You cannot be afraid to lose the ball. You got to trust in your teammates that are behind you, and that they're going to win the ball back and go on the attack. You cannot walk on eggshells. You cannot be no, you're down 2-0 on aggregate in the semifinal of the CCC. A big trophy that you want to win, a trophy that, the club expected to win coming into this season.
Sure.
And you're at home. These fans will be behind you. Embrace their energy, play through it, use the adrenaline, and go get it. The third one is defensive mindset. You cannot overstep. You cannot not step to the ball when it's in wide spaces. You have to man mark. You have to track runs. You have to be sound in the back line. All right. You cannot let a runner free. You cannot let Ustadi in one-on-one. You cannot let Brian White have a shot from a clear angle. You cannot have a clear cross come in. You have to be tactically sound defensively. You got to win the first ball, win any rebounded ball, any 50-50 ball, any 50-50 tackle. You got to go and you got to win. And those are the three keys for Inter Miami. Those are the three that I'm most looking forward to in the game. If they can compile all three into one nice smoothie, I think we have a very good chance to win.
Great. And we shall see. Let's see. Sean just commented. Thanks, Sean. We'll end with Sean's comment here. And someone's going to be overly defensive and probably red carded probably 20 minutes in. Wow, Sean, you're not giving. Hey, it's a possibility, right? We hope that
you have to have a level head. You can't go in the tackle in the box and make a stupid tackle.
they, yeah, like you said, you have to be disciplined and know that, hey, I cannot put my team in a bad predicament and get a red card and be shorthanded so early on, considering the deficit. So, Sean, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope they prove you wrong, Sean. We're going to be here cheering on our guys. So until next time, Mark, tell the people where they can find you, my friend.
Yeah, that at right there, F9 Mark. I respond, I follow, I do anything in Miami. Hit me up.
Yeah, every Wednesday, guys, 7:30, False 9,
Yeah,
7:30
they know.
Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, the home of the Inter Miami fans, the Kindle Sports Network. Follow us on X. Follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. You can find me at TX_TSB. I am usually a co-host running the show tonight because Byron, congratulations to him. He's a homeowner now. Kudos to Byron Garcia, our super producer. Awesome for Byron. This show has been brought to you by Bustillo Travel, guys. All right, that's my travel agency. For all your travel needs, I take the headache out of the planning. Let me do it. You just pack the bags. All right, until next time, guys, take it easy. Peace.